It's one of the most controversial policy debates raging across the valley. Are short-term vacation rentals an important boon to the tourist economy, especially during the pandemic, or are they unruly mini motels that disrupt neighborhoods? In Cathedral City, supporters of short-term rentals recently gathered more than 3,500 signatures to force the council to overturn a new ordinance that would have phased them out. So now there will be a special election on the issue in March. I spoke with Mayor Pro-Tem Raymond Gregory. Raymond, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Peter, for having me.
Tell us about the council's recent decision regarding short-term vacation rentals.
Well, the council has been working on the subject of short-term vacation rentals for more than a year, and in fact, more than a year and a half, to try to address the concerns that were happening when we found that suddenly there was a large number, at least relatively large to what we had before, a large number of new rentals being licensed in our town.
What has the reaction been on both sides of this issue? Because I know there are very strong opinions.
Right. Well, this is one of those topics, one of those things that we have to address that no one is completely happy. We started off with the Citizens Task Force, and our goal really was to try to see if there was a way that we could still maintain the safety of our city, of our neighborhoods. We could maintain the quality of life and still allow vacation rentals. We tried many things and even did some experiments like started using a security firm, those types of things. But unfortunately, that exercise just showed us that vacation rentals and the residential neighborhoods, at least, were not compatible.
Were you surprised to hear this much opposition to the proposition?
Well, no. There's been an organized group of the vacation rental owners, and they've been very involved in the whole process, but really not with any concrete suggestions, mostly just stories of other places and saying there must be a way we can work together. But we knew they were there, and we, of course, knew that they would not just accept our actions.
What are your thoughts on this special election? And do you think that this is the best way to decide what happens next with short-term rentals in residential areas?
Well, the council had to make a decision, and the decision really came down to, of course, it's very complex, but it really came down to, what is Cathedral City going to be? Are we going to have a city government that spends its time and energy and money and to regulate short-term vacation rentals? Are we going to have a city where neighbors are constantly having to police their own neighborhoods and turn in vacation rentals? Are we going to have vacation rentals that are taking over the housing stock in our city? So it really came down to, are we going to have a safe and secure city with a quality of life that is geared towards residences, where families and retirees and working people can live? Or are we going to have a city that's primary focus is regulating these small businesses that are cropping up inside of neighborhoods? So that's really what it came down to. The council obviously decided that having a safe city with a high quality of life and having opportunities for families and others to come and set up roots here in Cathedral City was really what, at the core of what Cathedral City was. And although we certainly welcome visitors, and we think we came up with a compromise where we would still have places for visitors to stay in areas of town where that worked. The residential neighborhoods are really for permanent residents.
I'm curious, Raymond, since you're set to become mayor of Cathedral City, where do you personally stand on this issue regarding short-term rentals? And do you see any further action regarding them, like what Rancho Mirage recently did, increased fees for permits, et cetera?
That housing that's in the residential neighborhoods really needs to be for families, seniors, people that are here that are going to put down permanent roots in Cathedral City. So I wholeheartedly agreed when the council came to that decision that those were the priorities for Cathedral City. When it comes to fees, separately, we did, of course, we've hired some additional temporary staff while this all gets sorted out. And we did raise fees to cover a portion of their costs. Again, it does highlight, though, that even with the raised fees, it only pays for a portion of their costs, and that a lot has been said about the economic benefit of having vacation rentals, but really what we're seeing is a lot of that is offset, even on the economic side, by what it takes for the city to adequately regulate them. So I anticipate that our new fee will need to stay in place, and then of course we can review that as this all gets sorted out.
All right, Raymond, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.